The characters are doing something suspicious and are about to get caught, so they kiss. Boys made into monsters and weapons, but secretly they are soft and lovely. The moment the enemies to lovers trope breaks and they show vulnerability and that they care. Oh no, they're entirely in frame. Never mind. Okay, hi everyone, it's Sunny. It is in fact almost midnight. It's 11:26 p.m. It's pitch black dark outside. Meet me at midnight. Midnight's become my afternoon. Tower at midnight. Okay, anyway, all that's to say is that it's midnight right now and I'm filming a book recommendation video. I'm home for the winter break, actually where all of the physical books our family owns is, so I really want to take advantage of that. So I have a little pile of books that we're gonna be seeing in person for the first time, even though I recommend them all the time. So if you see me recommend them in every single book recommendation video I've ever made ever, I just wanted to show them off. And these are specifically gonna be about like very hyper specific book tropes. Very hyper specific. Yeah, I have a whole list of them on my phone. I literally have so many. Hopefully we're gonna get through the majority of them. So the first one is saying one thing while thinking another. I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know that you know exactly what book I'm gonna pull out of this pile right now. Guys, look! We're seeing her in person. I feel like I've featured her in like maybe 1 or 2 other videos right when I was fresh out of the womb on booktube. So she's making her little debut. This is my copy of Six of Crows. I talk about this book all the time, so yeah. The exact copy that I read in high school from like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. And I've loved her ever since. Thinking one thing while saying another is literally the definition of this book and literally one of my favorite parts about this book. I bet I can find you something. When you go to Kaz's chapters, the little hoe, I have a specific scene in mind. So basically like in Kaz's chapter, he is the head of a street gang and they're all pulling off a heist. This whole thing is like, I hate everyone in the world, I'm closed off to everyone in the world but you. And you see him opening up to one other character, which is Inej, and they're like probably my favorite romance I've ever read in my entire life. He's the most like emotionally repressed person I've ever met. You see him slowly opening up to Inej. And so for example, when she's injured in this scene and he goes up to talk to her, she's been injured, but he has like kind of been avoiding her and it's like, why is he doing that? And then when he finally approaches her, he's like tasking her with something in the heist and she says, you know I can do it, Kaz, and you know I'm not going to refuse, so why ask? And then here's the game changer. In italics, it says what he's actually thinking, which is, because I've been looking for an excuse to talk to you for 2 days. Sorry, this is Professor Kim talking. Welcome to Book Trope 101. Take a seat. And there's so many more instances in this book. I've never seen a book do it better. And then the second book is Crooked Kingdom. If you have not read this duology, it's gonna show up again in this book video. Read it, just spreading the agenda once again. Okay, next is one of my favorite tropes too. I made a deal with the devil trope. There's a couple of books that does this. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. It's a really fun, quick, easy read. It's about a girl, I think her name's like Evie or Evangeline or something like that. Ends up making a deal with a devil type character. I don't know why I love this trope so much. Definitely because I just love a morally gray character more than someone who's like a golden boy, like good character. Like something way more interesting to read about when the character is like supposed to be the antagonist. Like they seem like the antagonist at first, but then you like find out that they're more human than you think. Like that is so compelling to me. I don't know what that says about my psyche. Oh yeah, she learns that the love of her life will marry someone else, and so she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts, who is like the devil character here, to stop the wedding. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses. So like not kissing him, like her kissing anyone. But then you also know what's gonna happen, which is they're gonna fall in love, which is my favorite part. Another book that does this is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This wasn't my favorite book, but it does have this trope in it. And actually this is like definitely not the main plot, but it's like the one redeeming part of this book. She wishes to live forever, but like no one remembers her, is like the counter part of that. The devil character, his name's Luke. There is another love interest in this book. Like I was rooting for Luke because why did they have tension then? Why did they have tension? Was it just to create romantic conflict between her and Henry, I think is like the actual love interest? Henry was boring. Everything else about this book was boring except for the potential with Luke, but it never happened. But if you do want to read about that, that book has it. There's also Bear and the Nightingale, another subplot in this book. That was my personal favorite part of this book. It's like a very winter inspired by Russia. Our main character, she like grew up being warned about like the winter demon. But then she ends up meeting the winter demon and they also have tension. Like, how are you gonna make them have tension? That's just, why would that happen? Okay, moving on, because I'm gonna try to go quickly. Oh my god. Amazing. The characters are doing something suspicious. That's suspicious. The characters are doing something suspicious and are about to get caught, so they kiss. Trope. I literally just read this. It was in Foul Lady Fortune by Miss Chloe Gong. This is like the companion sequel series to These Violent Delights. It follows one of the characters from that book. I guess you don't have to read the original duology to like fully understand the story. Like it's fine, and there's new characters and a whole new plot, but you will be missing some context. They do like recount it, but it's not the same as like reading it in the book, and you will be spoiled about what happens in the duology. It also has like the who did this to you trope, scar reveal trope. One of them is sick/injured and asks the other to stay trope. It is filled with so many tropes, and not in a cringy way. I cringed so easily. The fact that I didn't cringe once. And this is fake dating trope. Like that must say a lot about how this was written, because I feel like I'm like hypersensitive to like being cringed out by like some book tropes, especially the ones that were in this book. So I actually surprised myself the fact that I liked this book so much. The characters are doing something suspicious and are about to get caught, so they kiss. Are we about to kiss right now? It's giving Jake and Amy in that one episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the game-changing episode. If you know, you know. If we follow Orion and Rosalind, and they have to pretend to be a married couple because they're both spies and they're going undercover. This is their cover. Obviously they're staking out someone and everyone has to think that they're, you know, married. They don't get along like that well. At least Rosalind doesn't really get along with Orion that well, because she's like hiding a lot of secrets and he's hiding a lot of secrets. But you do see them turning to friends, develop romantic feelings, and be like, oh, I feel something happening inside of me. Then they have that scene. Next, dark academia plot where there's a secret group of students who are mostly insufferable and the author expects you to know entirely too much about a niche academic topic. If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This is exactly that trope. Dark academia takes place in like an acting institute, specializes in like Shakespeare acting. It's really, really elite. So like the senior class is literally just like the 5 of them or the 6 of them. They're literally the entire like graduating cohort. See all their relationships. It's obviously very, very dark academia, like theater type academia, and I love reading about that stuff. And it's literally all about Shakespeare. And I literally know nothing about Shakespeare because, fun fact, I never did Shakespeare in grade 9. Or wait, I missed out on like a year of Shakespeare. I moved schools a lot when I was in elementary, and so there are like some units that I just like missed during the move. Yeah, Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare was one of them. I never read that play, even though everyone else and their mother has. Love that for me. Amazing book, by the way. I highly recommend. Oh, another one is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Also dark academia. I never actually finished that book. I know that I have to. I liked it. I had on audio and then it expired, so then I never finished it. But I know the sequel is coming out, so I guess I should. But I know that it's also dark academia. It takes place in a university. Hey, Happy Sunshine character ups and snaps. So for this one, I'm gonna recommend Crest by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles series. Okay, they're kind of companion standalones / sequels. Like, I don't think you have to read every single book in order. Kind of like These Violent Delights. Like, you don't have to in order to get the story, but you probably will be a little bit spoiled for the books that come before. But in my opinion, the 3rd one, Crest, is like the best one. It's not Grumpy Sunshine because the male love interest is not grumpy. He's like a player. It's like player sunshine, player innocence type vibe. She just grew up in like this orbiting satellite. It's a retelling of Rapunzel, but like make it sci-fi. And then when she meets Captain Thorne, who ends up stranded in like her satellite too, their dynamic is like she is so happy, so sunshine. It's really cute. She has a crush on him. Like this also gives she fell first, but he fell harder. She obviously has a crush on him right away, but he is like such a player. And I feel like he doesn't think of her that way until like much later on. Inevitably, the sunshine ends up cracking / snapping / breaking down, like not having the strength to like keep up the sunshine and be happy all the time. And I love that moment in books. I just love it. I low-key resonate with it. It's actually too late in the night for this. Okay, next, eccentric character doing something completely bizarre but acting like it's normal. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a book. Okay, one second. I need to run. And you guys are gonna see my grout fit. Okay, I'm back. Eccentric character doing something completely bizarre but acting like it's normal. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Love this book. Finally, we see her in the flesh. The character I'm thinking about here is Ronan, and he's like the delinquent bad boy one, but he's also the most out-of-pocket, bizarre one who does things and like just no questions asked, which is why I think he's a fan favorite. Okay, low-key, why am I out of breath? That's kind of embarrassing. For example, gets a pet raven and names it Chainsaw, feeds it, cares for it, becomes a literal mommy for it. Mommy? Sorry. And everyone's like, oh, okay, and that's it. Nobody asks questions. The other book I thought of was The Inheritance Games. One of the Hawthorne grandsons. There's 4 of them again. Is his name Xander or Xavier? It's like something quirky like that. Name starts with an X. He's the youngest one. He's kind of eccentric because he like loves puzzles, obviously. And he loves like making like Rube Goldberg machines, that kind of stuff. He's kind of like a genius. Hangs around and is like up to stuff, but nobody asks questions because it's like kind of just the way that he is. The same 2 books that I just talked about also are good for the one of my favorite guilty pleasures treasure tropes. Poor girl joins a rich friend group of boys. Both of these are like that. What's next? Boys made into monsters and weapons, but secretly they are soft and lovely. A fan favorite and a Sunny favorite trope. This is my weak spot. I think it's all of our weak spots. I think we all sing. Boys made into monsters and weapons, but secretly they're soft and lovely. So good. First, I feel like the best example of this is Shatter Me. Obviously Warner, if you know, you know. Starts out as like the main antagonist and you're like, ew, he's toxic, red flags. How could anyone like him and why are people thirsting over him? He's literally doing things that are unforgivable and so callous. And like, how could anyone love him? Like, that's actually so toxic. But then red becomes your favorite color. He doesn't actually want to be like that. He was just made into this weapon. And he's actually so just not like that. Very kind, very sweet. But the next book series I obviously thought of. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I've never held all of them up like this on camera before. Feels like I'm at home. But it's the Infernal Devices series, Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess, where Will Herondale, my favorite character of all time, if you know, you know, is exactly this trope. I think he's my origin story for why I love this trope so much. He's definitely not like evil, not the antagonist in this, but like his personality is just very like sarcastic and pretends that nothing like really gets to him, slash pretends he doesn't like make it known how much he cares about the people in his life, even though he is actually probably the one who cares the most. He's so caring and really, really sweet. But that's like a rarity because in every other moment he like pretends like nothing really bothers him and pretends to like not actually care about the people in his life that much, even though everybody clearly sees through his facade because he's literally just a 17-year-old like kid. I read this when I was like really young, like 12, 13. And then you later find out why he is like that. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it and or stop crying about it ever since. So yeah, and then she's making a comeback. Obviously, trope is exactly Kaz. I feel like I don't need to explain it. But while we're here, this is also the trope. We're in a very cold environment. We must huddle together for warmth trope. This has it with two of the other characters, Nina and Matthias. They have their own little like sub-romance backstory thing where it's an enemy-lover situation, forced proximity, end up being like shipwrecked on like a boat together, and it's like in the tundra type climate, and then they have to huddle together for warmth. Next, the moment the enemies-to-lovers trope breaks and they show vulnerability and that they care. Another fan favorite. Again, I'm gonna recommend Clockwork Angel because this has one of the best ones I've ever seen. To this day, I think about this scene. I hope you guys know what scene I'm talking about. It's the vampire blood scene. If you know, you know. Oh my gosh, I literally can't even talk about it. I go back and reread just that scene all the time. And then I also read the snippet that the author released, which is the same scene, but from Will's point of view. Oh my god, best thing I've ever read in my entire life. That was a reset in modern literature, in my opinion. And then the other one that comes to mind that also does this trope really, really well, like throughout the entire book, is Midnight City. It's a dystopia, apocalyptic kind of thing. The two of them are like on the run, I guess, together, except it's like kind of enemies to lovers. He's a bounty hunter. She's the bounty, or she has the bounty, and she is like dying slash like succumbing to like this kind of illness thing. When she has like episodes of it like kind of taking over, he like is really, really sweet and really, really soft and really, really like tender towards her, like so out of the blue. Like, it really got me. It actually got me so good. I highly recommend. That book does it so well. Next, a terribly powerful child who is also super cute. That is also Midnight City. Yeah, sorry, that's the other piece that I forgot. The two of them are like traveling together, but then they both stumble across like a space shipwreck, and it's this little girl, and they're like, oh, well, we need to take care of this little girl. She ends up being like really, really, really powerful, they find out, and that she could like be what saves the entire planet from this apocalypse. And then also The Darkest Mind, which I don't have a physical copy of, which is absolutely maddening to me because that series is literally one of, oh my god, my battery's about to die. Okay, yeah, The Darkest Minds. Next trope, a time jump from childhood to adolescence when the characters grow and change dramatically, especially if two similar characters become very different. Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because the two characters were like in foster care together as children in a very abusive household. They reunite when they're in high school again. The girl is still really quiet, but the guy really popular, but they have such a deep bond, and then the second that he sees her, they obviously recognize each other. Yeah. Okay, and the last one is just gonna be something general, which is a masquerade ball. Oh my god, my camera died. That's so embarrassing. Like I was saying, the last trope that I'm gonna talk about is the masquerade ball trope. It's not really a trope, but it's like a scene. So good. Actually, I forget if it's this one or if it's the second one, but it's one of these two. Can't recommend this series enough. I think I'm gonna do a reading vlog of this literally as soon as possible. Okay, I guess that's gonna be all for this video. Very spontaneous, but I love touching physical books. But look what I have to put back. But it's fine. Anyway, be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. You can follow me on all my socials. They're all linked in the description. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Bye.